This is the process we go through every time we turn the system on. This is called an Allen & Heath GLD80. It's the same mixer we have out here as in the studio. And with any mixer, whether it's this one or anything else, the process you're supposed to follow is to turn your mixer on before you turn the amplifiers on. And when you finish, you go in reverse order. You turn off the amplifiers and you turn off the mixer. So turn the mixer on first. This power switch is right by where the power cord is retained back here. You'll learn it by feel. It's right below that power cord. You flip that rocker switch and it'll take it several minutes to boot up. While it's booting up, this is just like a computer is all it is. It's a computer instead of a keyboard input. It's got all these sliders and knobs. And so it does all this processing just like any other computer does. It processes signals in and out and stores memory, any number of other things that are like a computer. So we wait for it to boot up and you'll see indicators on the screen when it's booted up. What we have here is what we have saved in the computer and the board is called a show, as if we're going somewhere and putting on a show. And within that show we set different scenes. So as things change, you need the board set up differently, different inputs, different adjustments and settings. You save those to different scenes within the show. So we have just one show here, and I'll show you the label on that later. But every time we turn it off, we go to this off scene, which is where it's at right now. You see all the outputs are muted. There are no inputs on the board. When it was shut down, this number 10 preset button was pushed. It's labeled off, and it takes it to this off scene. And that's the last thing you do before you do the power down sequence. Once you've turned it on and it's booted up and you're at this point, you can go to the starting mix. This number 1 button is labeled starting mix. All of these faders come up. They're all muted. All these inputs are muted. And once you've done that, you want to wait a few minutes and let it settle down before you start unmuting any channels. If you don't, the channels that require phantom power, those condenser mics, will not have their phantom power at first. Then they're unmuted and ready to go, and then the phantom power hits it and it roars and squeals. So you give it several seconds to settle down before you unmute, particularly the piano mic is the worst culprit.
You want to turn your power on?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the board is up. We're at the starting mix. We can turn on the amplifiers. It's this white button under here, and it's labeled on and off. It's just one touch, that button, and it starts a sequence. It turns on things in sequence. The amplifiers, this equipment here, this mixer here, that's our playback, various playback sources. It turns all those things on in a proper sequence so that they don't make pops and things. If you turn on the amps before you turn on a processor, it'll pop. So this waits and turns on the amps last, and it turns them on in sequence so they don't hit the power all at once. Once that's on, you're in your starting mix. You can begin to unmute the channels you're using and begin to mix. I'm going to, just for the purposes of this video and to keep it short, I want to just do a couple of things here. We have a lead guitar on the stage right now. He's using his normal channel that he always uses. So we can hear it very well. The guitar's working. I'm going to unmute. Nathan, is your mic on? Give me a little something on your mic. This is a talk back button right here where we can talk to the stage. It directs this microphone to the stage sound fields only, not into the house, so that they can hear us. Give me a little something on your microphone, Nathan, so we can...
On the guitar mic or?
No, on your vocal mic for demonstration purposes here. Okay, I don't show a signal from you yet.
I don't think his mic's picking up.
Okay. While he's doing that, these are all of the microphone receivers here, and you can tell by looking at them. They show if they're muted, that probably means they're turned off. If the battery's showing up, they're probably turned on. This left bar indicates strength, signal strength, and the right-hand bar indicates modulation. So, he is on the black microphone.
He's
Oh, no, he's on the green microphone. My bad.
It is, I am green.
Okay, my bad. I gave you the green microphone by mistake.
That makes a difference.
Okay. Let's give you your regular mic with the black tape on it so that it has the right compressors and so forth.
Where is it at?
It's in the case right there.
Behind the wall.
Trying to do too many things at once.
Like,
Nathan's mic has a compressor on it, so because his voice is his dynamic range is so wide, he goes from very soft spoken to very loud singing to very soft spoken. So there's a compressor to kind of
I think
compensate
what
for all
David's
this.
trying to say is I'm too loud.
I said you had a very wide dynamic range.
The nice way to say it. So we keep your compressors the same.
So he's on his microphone now and he's got this compressor set. So let's say that we've mixed all the instruments and all the microphones like we want them. We've gotten into rehearsal. We're pretty good to go. From this starting mix, what we want to do now is not ever save any changes to the starting mix. Never go back and save something to that scene. But instead, this button right here is labeled Scenes. The main scene we always use for worship services is the number 2 scene labeled Worship. So you make sure you've highlighted Worship and click on Store. And when you see that button dim out like that and brighten back up, it has done its thing. It has stored the changes we made to that scene. So now when I switch to worship scene, nothing happens. We're in the worship scene and no changes happened. But the things that we unmuted, the changes we made, they're all still there. So that's generally how we get set up, started, and going to mix any worship or activity. Do you want to include the shutdown sequence on this? I mean, just for demonstration, I won't actually do it. The steps are, when you're done, the way I do it, I hit the off scene to kill everything, cut all the mics and inputs. I go here, kill the amplifiers with this power switch. It sequences off the amps and this ancillary equipment. Once that's off, then there's a shutdown sequence on this screen here. You make sure you're on the top button. If the top button is lit up and it shows you something other than what you're looking for here, just press it again until you see this power down button light up. And once you see the power down, you touch that. It says, are you sure you want to sit down? You shut down, you click the other button that says yes. Then it'll say it is safe to shut off your GLD80, and then you flip the rocker switch again. And that's the whole process.
Good job.
Questions? Okay. Thank you very much, Robert.